More of your go-to for all things home. This is Home Answers Radio, presented by JeffBuysYourHouse.com, Access, Level 10 Coatings, Steiner Homes, Center Guard Plumbing, and by American Beam and Steel. Once again, here's Roger Piper.
Your go-to for all things home. It's Home Answers Radio.
Hi, welcome to Home Answers. I'm Roger Piper. The show's about your home. And today we're going to talk about all of those pipes and fluids and things that run through your house. It's plumbing. And we've got a great expert here. Mike Epping with Center Guard Plumbing. Mike, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Roger. Appreciate it.
Center Guard is a company that you built from the ground up. It's a large company in Chicagoland, but still family-owned and operated. It's a great American story. I mean, you take something, you and your partner, and you build this company, and you get it to a pretty good size, but you're not at that point to where you're going to end up being bought out by some huge corporate company, and then all the great service goes away. So, I mean, it's exactly what you want. Tell us about how many trucks you have and the area that you service.
Yeah, we've got 20 plumbing trucks available on a daily basis, and we cover basically the Wisconsin line all the way to Indiana, as far west as DeKalb and Rockford, Joliet, and all the south, side suburbs. Basically 7 counties, sometimes 8, depending on location.
Yep. And as I always have said, it's very important to have contractors already pre-screened. That way, when you have an issue, you got an electrical problem, you got a plumbing problem, any problem that you have in your house, you got somebody ready to call, because they always say a cluttered mind can't think clearly. And that's definitely the case with plumbing, because 90% of the time, Mike, when somebody's calling you, it's a problem. And so you need to be able to say, okay, I've already pre-screened them, I've already talked to them, and you don't mind if somebody gives you a phone call and says, hey, you know what, I just want to put you on my list in case I ever need anybody. Tell us why I should do business with you. And if they did that, what would you say?
Yeah, I would love to have somebody call and interview us as a plumbing company. I can honestly say I don't know a customer that actually has reached out and done that. And I would be very open to that, to talk to people. That's what I like to do. That's the biggest thing I miss about not being in the field anymore. Mm-hmm. I miss the customers.
Yep.
And talking and meeting people and actually being able to help them. So, yeah, if you called us and you were going to interview Mike Epping or one of Center Guard's employees, we're going to tell you that we are a family-owned business. You mentioned, being bought out. We literally get 2 or 3 offers almost weekly by investment groups looking to do it, and it's just not something that my business partner and I are interested in doing, because we've seen what happens to the companies that do get bought out, and all these family-owned businesses with great names and have serviced you for decades, and things change.
Yeah, it never gets better when that happens.
No, it just becomes a money machine and a pressure and a sales machine. And if you called us and asked us, we're just going to be honest with you. It's very reliable service from honest people. We're good at what we do. We're very efficient. We have an incredible inventory, not only in our warehouse, but on every vehicle that we send out there. Mm-hmm. So we're not going to be charging you multiple times. If we don't have a part, to go back and, now we're going to charge you a second, service call. And that's what's happening. Mm-hmm. They intentionally don't have the part so that they can tell you have to replace this fixture because this part's not available. They'll make up something just to sell you something brand new that's more expensive, that they can mark up more, that you don't really need, and we'll repair things.
Yep, and that's one of the black eyes for contractors, is that they're always looking where it's the bottom line. Now, everybody needs to make money, okay? We're all capitalists, I get that. But these phony upsells that constantly happen, HVAC is great for that. But it's when you're looking at gaining a long-term customer rather than just a one and done, you can't operate that way. So your people, they're not there to sell. They're there to repair, right?
Yeah, absolutely. No commission. They walk in your door, and all they're trying to do is help you and fix your problem.
Yep. And one of the things that Center Guard has that I have never seen anybody else have, which I think is very unique and, again, focused on the customer, and that is that price calculator. You can go online and in 60 seconds you can get, basically a quote on the job. Tell us about that price calculator, because it is so unique and different.
Yeah, it's very unique. It sets us apart from really the competition. Basically, a customer can go on there literally in 60 seconds. You can actually, I would recommend that you do this. Pick a fixture in the home that you're maybe looking at replacing in the near future, or even just to test it out. Go through, answer the questions, and it will literally give you a price that is extremely accurate.
Yep, and the price is the price. So,
Yes.
And you can upload pictures, right?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, if you're going to have something like, let's say you want a new water heater, you take a picture of the water heater, maybe a couple of pictures of it, things like that. You can get a very accurate quote then.
Yeah, no, the actual quote is we guarantee. If you text us pictures and we give you a quote, that's the quote.
Yeah. And that takes out all of the craziness when it comes to, and again, when something happens with plumbing, your brain's not thinking clearly. You need to have somebody ready to go. CenterGuardPlumbing.com, that's the website, and I highly recommend go there, do your research, and you can call them at 847-406-8883, 847-406-8883. And preventative is a big thing with plumbing too. Give us some do-it-yourselfer for your normal guy that's semi-handy, that is a homeowner, some things that they can do when it comes to plumbing that is proactive, some basic maintenance. What are some things that you would recommend, maybe the top 2 or 3?
Yeah, the biggest one I think is just cleaning your screens and your aerators on all your faucets and your shower heads. Because what happens is if you've got more pressure in the system that can actually make it out of the fixture because it's clogged, what it does is creates back pressure, and it'll actually ruin your fixtures, blow out your cartridges, and cause you premature failure. So something as easy as just taking a baby channel locks or something small. Most people can do this.
I've never had a plumber that recommended that. That's great. I mean, of all of, and there isn't anybody that can't do that. Take off an aerator, clean it, put it back on.
Yeah, no, it'll save you a lot of money on fixtures. Another one is if you notice your toilet condensating, or you go into the basement, it's humid, and you see that your copper or galvanized pipes are condensating heavily, when it's warmer, that's going to tell you that you've got a leak somewhere in the system.
Okay.
So normally those leaks are actually, because you're going to see a faucet dripping or running.
Right.
There's no doubt about that.
But when something's not visible,
normally it's the toilet, and a lot of people think you've got to hear it running or kicking on to actually. That's not the case. It'll bleed water very slowly. That over 24/7 for months will add up to a lot of money. So take some food coloring. Most people have it. If you don't, just put food coloring in the toilet tank.
okay.
If you see that color in the bowl, your toilet tank's leaking.
Okay, that's a great tip. That's a
Yeah,
fantastic
and that's
tip.
easy. I mean, it's so easy. Most people, too. I think this is kind of a cool point that I don't think a lot of people are aware of. When do people panic when they get their water bill? Because it doubled or tripled, and,
Right.
now they're looking at this giant bill. Well, not only can you detect it yourself, possibly fix it yourself by using food coloring, but make sure you call your village and negotiate your water bill, your final bill. If you actually show them that it's repaired, with a plumbing invoice, most of the time they'll actually knock that down for you, and you won't have to pay that whole sum. And most people just think, oh, I got a bill for $600, I have to pay it. But if you actually had a legitimate leak you were unaware of, you can actually go back and try to get some of that money deducted.
You know what? And that is a very good thing. Another tip?
Well, I would say you want to make sure if you're smelling any sewer gas or you're seeing little black moss, a lot of times people's traps for their floor drains are unused fixtures that don't get used very often, basement bathrooms where nobody goes down there. Run the water in them, once a month. If there's nothing going into your floor drain, like a line, from the AC or a drain pan for a water heater or something like that, if there's nothing going in there, just dump water down that. And if you really want to protect yourself from sewer gas, which isn't not only smells bad but isn't particularly healthy, take a little vegetable oil, a cup of vegetable oil, and dump that down that drain that you never use.
Okay.
And what that'll do is that'll keep the water from evaporating faster.
I'll be darned.
Yeah, and that's a great tip that I'd like to pass along to all the listeners too.
Yeah, that's really good. Real fast, let's talk about a special you have going on right now. A lot of people aren't aware that plumbers also handle gas lines. So when you talk about preventive, tell us about this special that you're doing with gas line inspections.
Yeah, what we're offering is $99 for a gas inspection through the end of July, and this is going to be your whole home. Everything inside your home, from the meter in, all your pipes that are in the open, all your fittings, your gas valves, everything we will test. And actually, if you have a leak, we can fix it for you the same day. And why is that an advantage? As Roger and I have talked about off air and on air, if you think you might have a gas leak and you call People's Gas or Nicor Gas, all they're going to do is come out and shut you off, and now you're in emergency searching for a plumber. So for $99, talk about a reasonable, preventative maintenance item, not just for safety and things like that. I'm not trying to scare people into doing this, but for $99, you can have the peace of mind that you don't have a leak, and you're never going to be in that emergency situation where all of a sudden you don't have hot water, a furnace, or a stove.
Yeah, and you don't mess around with natural gas. I mean, you don't. But this, you should almost put this on the same thing as, draining your water heater, flushing it, and then also your compressor, making sure that you clean your compressor every year on your AC. Good tip, Mike. I appreciate that. It's Center Guard Plumbing. Give them a call at 847-406-8883, or I would highly recommend go to the website, centerguardplumbing.com, centerguardplumbing.com. Write them down as somebody you call when you have a plumbing emergency, and don't forget about that price calculator. That's something that's just incredibly unique. Thanks for being on the show, Mike.
Thanks, Roger. I appreciate it.
It's Home Answers on AM 560, The Answer.
Your